Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Staying away from the Chelsea news. It is obviously chaotic right now, but yesterday we beat Lille 2-1 in the Champions League last 16, 4-1 on aggregate, and Chelsea progress into the quarter-finals of the Champions League again. The Champions League draw is being hosted tomorrow. There will be a live stream on GBFC, so make sure you're subscribed. Notifications are on and you can join me live where we will react to how Chelsea can potentially get to yet another Champions League final. Last year, at this stage of the competition, we got Porto. It was the favourable draw. Now, in this season's Champions League, there are some big teams in it, and today we're going to rank all of those teams in favour of who is the most favourable draw. And of course, we're going to be doing it in the tier list format, so be sure to let me know what your Chelsea tier list would look like for these potential ties in the comments down below. We've got three tiers. We have got favourable, we have got hard, but fine, we should be able to get it done, and the hardest draw possible, which is the teams you want to avoid in any Champions League draw, especially when it gets to quarterfinals, semi-finals. There is no such thing as an easy game. There is no such thing as you've got to be winning this one, it's too easy. Obviously, there are teams that you would rather face and teams that you would rather not, but I think at this stage of the competition, even the teams that Chelsea won't want to face, despite all of the turbulence, all of the chaos, Chelsea must believe, as the current champions of Europe, Thomas Tuchel has won more matches in his first 50 Champions League games than any other manager, even more than Zinedine Zidane. Chelsea should believe that we can go on and win this trophy again. If you think they will, hit the like button on today's video. But without any further ado, we're going to go through in alphabetical order, starting with Atletico Madrid, the team that Chelsea played in last season's last 16. And when we played them, we won both matches against them last year and we dominated Atletico Madrid. You remember Emerson Palmieri scoring a goal in the last few seconds of the game to seal it at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea were phenomenal against Atletico Madrid last season. I think in terms of that tactical battle that Simeone versus Thomas Tuchel brings, it is never easy to play against Atletico Madrid, as Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United found out in the last 16. They got a decent result in the Wanda Metropolitano, but winning there isn't for everybody. Chelsea have done it twice. They go to Old Trafford, and it was a brilliant defensive performance from Atletico Madrid, nullifying the Manchester United attack, which even when they're not playing well and it doesn't look like a cohesive team, United at home with Ronaldo in the Champions League, to go there and keep a clean sheet. They won 1-0, 2-1 on aggregate. Atletico are a team that you never can look at and think, well, yeah, we're going to win this for sure. But I think in terms of what it would be for Chelsea, I would put it in tier number 2. I'm going to say that it is the hard category, but it isn't the most daunting tie. I think after we won both of those games last season, I think we're even better now than we were at this point last season as well, which sounds like an odd thing to say because we won it last year. But now the team have been playing together for longer, Thomas Tuchel seems to have got a couple of different setups now that we can use, and even if all of this off-the-pitch chaos is still going to be affecting us, which I'm sure by that point we will know who the future owner is going to be of Chelsea, whether it's done and the uncertainty at the club is kind of solved. We're unsure at this point, and as Petr Cech and everyone else keeps saying at Chelsea, day by day, but we've got to approach this potential Champions League draw thinking that any sanctions will hopefully be more manageable for Chelsea by the time the first leg of these is played. We move into Bayern Munich. We're a little bit shaky across two legs against Salzburg, the first one of which they could have lost the first leg. They drew it 1-1 and then 7-1 at home in Munich in the second leg. Bayern Munich this season have been an interesting one. I watch a bit of Bayern football, I watch a bit of Dortmund football, particularly in the Bundesliga. And Bayern, sometimes they look very shaky. Defensively, there have been times this season where they've been simply carved open. In Robert Lewandowski, they still have one of, if not the best number 9 in the world. Kai Havertz will chase him down eventually, but Robert Lewandowski scored a hat-trick in, I think it was like 11 minutes or 12 minutes in that last 16 second leg tie against Salzburg. Bayern won 7-1, and on their day, they've got the most scintillating, fluid attack in Europe, without question. But the problem is, inconsistencies this year make playing Bayern Munich a slightly more manageable idea in my mind than it would have been in recent years. And because Chelsea have been so resolute, we're a fantastic knockout football team. I would go as far as to say that even though Bayern Munich would be bloody difficult, and if we draw Bayern, no one's going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be cool, we're going to go straight through, mate. It's not going to be that easy. But I would stick it in the same category as Atletico Madrid. And as we go through and you see who I put in tier 3, I think you guys will understand a little more. But we move into Benfica. Very, very similar vibes as Porto last year. Benfica did very well to beat Ajax. I actually thought Ajax were going to win both of those legs and easily progress against Benfica. But Benfica looked very good indeed. They win 1-0 in Amsterdam. Very difficult to break down. I really like Grimaldo, the Benfica left back. I think he's a very, very good player. Could be a potential option for Chelsea if we're able to purchase players in the summer. It's a big if, of course. But when you look at the other names left in the hat, Real Madrid, Liverpool, City, Villarreal, good team as well. You've got Benfica as probably the one that Chelsea would love to get at this point in the competition. Porto last year, that was the favourable tie. Benfica is that tie again this season. I think the fact they beat Ajax means that you cannot underestimate them. You can't go into it with an unblinding confidence, but this Chelsea team, we don't go into any knockout tie with that kind of confidence. Lille in the last 16 was the favourable one. We did a very professional job. 4-1 on aggregate. Benfica go through 3-2, but they've got to go into tier number 1. Moving into Manchester City. Last year's finalists. Chelsea, Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel, tick, got the number in knockout football. Beat them in the FA Cup. Beat them in the Champions League final. It is only a matter of time, before Manchester City win the Champions League. I put City and PSG in the same bracket. Never won it, but probably will win it eventually. Now, PSG are never going to win it. But City, as long as Guardiola is there, as long as the money keeps on being spent, and as long as they manage to avoid any kind of punishment from the UK government, which is a topical thing right now, isn't it? But City are going to be there eventually. And I think over 2 legs, it would be very, very hard for Chelsea to beat this City team. We've seen them in the Premier League this season. They are top of the league at the moment. 9 games left in the Prem, 1 point clear of Liverpool, but 11 clear of Chelsea, despite Chelsea's game in hand. 2 legs against City would be incredibly tough. It is the one you want to avoid. You want to stay away from the English teams as long as you possibly can. If you can get them in a one-off game, as Chelsea know, then I back us a little more. But over 2 legs, I think we could do it. Of course we could. It's Tuchel. It's this team. We're the champions. We're the holders. But over 2 legs, it would be incredibly difficult. So City, the first team in tier number 3. Moving into Liverpool. If I put this as bluntly as possible, if Liverpool are playing their best football, Liverpool are the best team in this competition. They beat us in the final of the Carabao Cup, but there is just something about Anfield in the Champions League. I've been to a Champions League night at Anfield, I've been to a Europa League night at Anfield, I've been to a Premier League game at Anfield. The atmosphere is absolutely electric on a Champions League night. The rest of it, it's a myth. On that Champions League night, even in the group stage, even against the lower ranked teams, Liverpool, it's daunting. With Mo Salah on form, Mane on form, Jota, Firmino, Luis Diaz now, a totally different prospect. Liverpool, I think, should be the favourites to win the competition this season. I think, obviously, the focus on the title race now in the Prem, with only 1 point between Liverpool and City, I think it is a big benefit to Chelsea that those two will be competing so intensely, probably until the final day of the season. So either Liverpool or City, with Premier League football being absolutely paramount to their focus too, you do wonder whether, because Liverpool have won it 6 times and City have never won it, would you rather face Liverpool than a Man City team who are desperate to win this competition? Ignore everything Pep Guardiola says about, oh, it's more important to win the Premier League. He wants that Champions League. The City owners are desperate. But Liverpool, you cannot deny that on their day, I think they're the strongest team in the competition left. So Liverpool go right alongside Manchester City. Avoid Liverpool at all costs. Obviously, the quarter-final draw is made, and then the semi-final draw is made straight after. If we can keep City and Liverpool away from our side of the draw somehow until the final, then I think we can go and win it for the third time. And I would actually be semi-confident to say that. Of course, it would take an absolute, it would take so much for it to happen, but I believe it could. Moving into Real Madrid. We beat them in the semi-final last year. Christian Pulisic, knockout football goal merchant. Real Madrid, though, they beat Paris Saint-Germain. Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Neymar. It's not a team, though, is it? You know, Real Madrid, even if on paper PSG are stronger, even if they've got Sergio Ramos, Mr. Champions League, Mr. Real Madrid are a solid team. And this season under Ancelotti, they're looking good again. Benzema is, he's up there with Lewandowski. I cannot choose between the two of them. At this moment, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Karim Benzema. An incredible hat-trick to knock out Paris Saint-Germain. It was scintillating watching that game. Real Madrid, they just know how to win in this competition. There is no way you ever go into a tie in the Champions League against Real Madrid expecting to win. It is such a tough prospect. Go into the Bernabeu. We've done it, and like I said earlier, I think we're a better team now than when we went there and we beat them last season. So, for that reason, I also think that the quality over the years of Real Madrid is not the same now. They were brilliant against PSG, but I think you have the concoction there of PSG being bottle job specialists in this competition and Real Madrid being the specialists in this competition. So Real Madrid are like the scientists and PSG are the experiment. Real Madrid go through. I'm going to stick Real Madrid in tier number 2 with Atletico and Bayern. Very, very difficult, but we've done it before and we can do it again. We move and finish with Villarreal, who were absolutely emphatic away at Juventus. We've already played Villarreal this season, required a penalty shootout to beat them, and they're a very dangerous team. Gerard Moreno in great form. They go to Juve. To go to Juventus and get a result is tough. Chelsea know that. We lost there this season despite beating them 4-0. So we knew that they were susceptible to a heavy battering. But for Villarreal to go there, score 3, it is very, very impressive indeed. They go through on aggregate 4-1, the same as Chelsea. So Villarreal cannot be underestimated. In the past 20 years, they've made it to the quarterfinals twice already. They made it to the semis once. I think they played Arsenal, if I remember correctly, that year that Arsenal got to the final. But Villarreal, again, you've got to look at it as one of those teams that you wouldn't mind facing. Chelsea have got knockout pedigree. Chelsea are the holders. So we know what to do in this competition. And Villarreal, as much as they deserve to be here, without question, I think Chelsea would look at this alongside Benfica as the draw that, if you could choose it, you would want that. So Villarreal go into tier number 1, but again, if I had to then rank the top ones, I'd rather Benfica over Villarreal. Even though also 2012 Benfica quarter-final, I do love a good old story. But anyway, let me know if you agree with my tier list in the comments below. Rank each team in the comments. Let me know which one you would want in order of who you would rather face. So if I had to then split up tier 2, I would rather play Atletico, then Real Madrid, then Bayern. And if I had to choose between City and Liverpool, I'd rather play City. But yeah, let me know yours in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to GBFC if you are new so that you don't miss any of the updates. We're uploading 3 or 4 videos a day at the moment. So plenty of content for you guys to feast your eyes on. Let's wait for tomorrow. Come on, you Blues.